Joseph, turn on your mic and tell me that you can talk.
All right, let's test it out. Are you able to hear me?
Yes. Yeah, look at us. We're great.
Perfect.
Okay, Joseph, I will introduce you in a couple of minutes. I just need to say a couple of things just for our parents. So again, this will be an interactive session. Joseph, that we are blessed to have here. He was so nice to come here for free and to spread the word and help you guys out to learn a little bit more about volleyball rules. Is honestly, I've been in Miami 5 years. Is in my top 3 referees that I've ever had, and I think I had some hundreds of them. He's a USA volleyball ref, college ref. He is also the assistant athletic director at Miami Country Day. Before I let them talk, that is why we are here. I was telling you, this is an interactive session. We will have a trivia, so you will be able to get on your phone, get on another device, or even on another window on your web browser. If you just scan this QR code, or if you want to just digit on your web browser this address, this AHA slides, so AHA slides.com/wave volleyball, wave VB, I'm sorry. You will be able to join the trivia, play on your phone, and we will have in real time the ranking question after question. After every question, Joseph will talk a little bit, explain a little bit about that specific rule and that specific topic.
Yep.
Before we start talking about rules, just a quick introduction about our Wave Talks for this year. And so today is day 1. We are blessed to have Joseph. And then we'll have one nutritionist session in a couple of weeks. Then December 19, basic of the game. So we will talk about technique and tactic and strategy together with Coach Mia, myself, and other coaches. And then in January, we'll have a college recruiting session with our college recruiting coordinator, plus other college coaches that will join the meeting online. One last thing, since we already received a lot of inquiries, we are planning to have our first meeting for the camp, the summer camp in Italy, that will be at its 4th edition for us on December 10th. We'll send out more information about the meeting soon, but in the meantime, if you wanna put it on your calendar, that will be the day that we will start sharing with you more information. Okay, you ready, Joseph?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Do you want to say a couple of things about yourself?
Yeah, no, and besides like the stuff that Marco was covering, the other things too is that we've had the pleasure of kind of like also running the association for a lot of the, the private schools in Dade and Broward as well, supplying officials here for Sugar Sand Official Association that Marco has like now also on the screen. So we do, and we cover about, now 32 schools in Dade and Broward County. So, we cover a lot of schools. I've had the pleasure of seeing you guys and working with a lot of different teams and associations with, USAV and AAU. So a lot of you guys have probably seen me either doing your matches for, those different associations, whether it's college or AAU, USAV. So one of those things is where I'm always approachable when it comes to helping out, answering questions, or being able to guide you through whatever the case may be, whether it's been as an official or head referee, especially as a head referee, because I'm able to answer more questions there. It's harder as a ref because when we are in work mode, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is we're not supposed to be as interactive with, parents and coaches and spectators, because it's one of those things that a lot of people don't realize, that if we're too overly friendly with either coaches, players, or parents, then we give the impression that we show favoritism. So we're supposed to be impartial. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, that we're supposed to be impartial, because then we don't want to kind of create any animosity. So that's why we try to be very impartial. But a lot of you that do know me, that have interacted with me over the years, I'm able to kind of drop that wall. When I'm a head referee, I'm supposed to be definitely much more approachable, and I definitely interact with a lot of people more, and they are able to approach me and ask any questions, especially when I do have the head referee responsibilities, especially in Deerfield. So whenever you guys see me, especially in head referee role, whatever questions you might have, especially after tonight, feel free to always approach me. I have no problem answering any questions or helping out in any which way. So especially after tonight, if you feel like anything else pops up that you might think of, just feel free to approach us, especially at the Sportsplex or now at the Tri facility for those tournaments locally. So after that, Marco, floor is yours.
Joseph, thank you so much. A quick thing for the parents and players that eventually are here. You will be able to ask questions if you scan that QR code and you connect there, because unfortunately we are running on 2 different platforms. In order to make the presentation interactive, we have to run it through another platform that is has slides. So if you click on that link, actually you cannot click on the link, but if you scan that QR code or you just digit on your keyboard that web address, you will be able to, well, first of all, be part of this game, win some gadgets like t-shirts, practice t-shirts, or t-shirts for you if you don't want to give it to your daughter. We have some Miami Wave office package with an agenda and pen customized and so on, and some volleyballs. So please play with us, so that we will test you and your knowledge. Just to let you know, there are some questions probably some of our coaches and myself don't even know the answer. So okay, so ready to play. We'll wait a couple of minutes to see if any of you is joining. There are 0 players ready. 3 ready. 1 minute. Yeah, going to play. Servono join later, that's fine. Or okay, I'm just lost one. Okay. So
4. All right, we got 24. We're good.
Of you replied
see, now you see, but now you're messing with them, because now you're going to be like Some people are gonna be like, "Well, you're asking for club or you're asking for high school?" You know.
Well, I specifically wrote club volleyball. But then some parents will complain because when you have like a 3-team pool.
Yeah.
When you have a 3-team pool.
Exactly. You're asking for
25, right?
You're asking for regular pool play, like 4 teams, or you're asking for auto threes. Yeah, exactly.
Correct. But yes, the answer is we play 2 sets out of 3. The first and second are to 25 points, and then the third set eventually to 15. Win by 2. So you have to win by 2 points. So if you go 14-14, obviously you go to 16 the third set. Same thing for the first and second set. 24. Okay, so right now, Juana is the first one. Okay, let's move on. Let's see. Second one. Made a couple of mistakes.
Listen, I love the last answer though. I mean, I'm I would have loved to see someone put the last answer, but
yeah, it would be in a bold answer. Yeah, actually, that's where I was like 3-4 years ago after moving from Europe. But yeah, the volleyball court is 2 squares, 30 by 30, divided by a net. So 60 by 30 is the total one. Okay, let's see the okay. Emma is now first in the ranking. And Joseph, do you want to talk a little bit about the structure of the court, antennas? We have some parents that are really at their first year of volleyball, so
yeah,
go deep into the details.
Yep. So little thing that you want to learn, especially when it comes to inside the attack lines, what you're going to see with the diagram there. Something you want to learn when it comes to learning the differences between the front zone and the back zone. When it comes to the front zone, when you have players in the back row, right? Because obviously here it's being more well-defined as the back zone and the front zone, but you'll hear the more regular terms being used as back row and front row. When your players are being defined as back row players, you want to know that obviously when they are in the back row, obviously any balls that are played from back row players, their attacks have to be completed completely behind the attack line. And what we mean by that is that their point of attack, when they take off to attack a ball, especially a ball that's contacted completely above the plane of the net. And what we mean by the plane of the net is completely above the tape, right? Has to be completed when they take off. Both feet have to be completely behind that attack line. So it's just one of those things that just to kind of be mindful of. So just in case if you see a referee signal anything like this, that means an illegal back row attack. Just so you know kind of like what the signal means, that just means that maybe at the point of attack, right, that any part of their feet was maybe inside the front zone, right? There was inside the attack line. That's a little bit, obviously a little bit more complex, but just so you're kind of mindful of what that means. The line where you see where it says center line, there are a little bit differences when it comes to club. Obviously, maybe some of your athletes might not play high school. There are differences between high school and club. In high school, when the foot completely comes over, it's automatically a center line fault. When it comes to club, that's not the case. When it comes to club, it's only a center line fault if it actually interferes with the play. So in club, the foot can actually come completely over, but if it does not interfere with the play, it is not a center line fault. So what we consider to be interfering with the play means it actually comes in contact with the player on the other side of the net. It actually is on the other side of the net, and a player might try to avoid that person's foot to be able to go around it to be able to make a play on the ball. That is where we would consider it to be an actual a center line fault, and we would have to be able to make that call. The other thing with the net, something that maybe is not as readily known, is the ball actually has to be, when it's attacked over to the opponent's side of the net, it actually has to be completely on the inside of the antennas. Something that sometimes people like to argue is when the ball goes over the antenna, that's still legally in play. That is actually not accurate. If the ball goes over the antenna, it is actually out of play. So it has to be completely swung within the antennas, inside the antennas, not over on the outside of it. If the ball goes over on the outside of the antennas, it is out of play. But that's just small details that you kind of pick up as you go, especially if it's going to be your first year within the game of volleyball. Anything else you might kind of want me to maybe address, Marco? Because I know first year you also might not want to lose them as much, but
no, actually, you address too much because you already answered some trivia, but you were too good. You see.
Oh, okay.
They paid attention. Let's see. No, definitely no. So the antennas, just to for the ones that have never seen a volleyball court, are these two sticks, white and red on the net, that are just a vertical prosecution of the sidelines, right? I don't say it right. Okay, and these are the height of the net. So as you can see, they are different based on age and based on gender. So the ones that are about your daughters, obviously, if your daughter plays U11 or U12, they would play with a lower net compared to 13 and up. So from 13 up to the end of their life, let's say in a junior club, the net would remain the same, 2 meters 24 or 7 feet 4 inches 1/8. And then it would be 7 feet if you're U11 or U12. Anything to add here, Joseph? No, I think we
say again.
Say it again.
No, yeah, no, I didn't hear that part. So
no, I was saying there's nothing to add here, right?
No, yeah. Basically, we just only adjust it from 12 and under.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So next one. Number of players. Okay, so, well, actually, a lot of people that say 4, 5, 7. No. Okay. No, actually, everyone replied the right.
30.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Can you explain the maximum? Because this is something that I learned here. Like I saw teams playing with 5 players.
Yes. Well, we would say maximum because you have to start with 6 players. That doesn't necessarily mean you get end of match with 6 players, right? You have to start with 6 players because that is the minimum required players to be able to start a match. However, you can end with less than 6 players because if you start a match with 6 players and you have an injury, but you don't have any substitutes to be able to put into a match, then obviously you can end a match with less players. That is allowed. However, obviously, if because of the fact that you don't have any substitutes, as soon as that person comes back up to serve again because you have less players, you would automatically lose the point. But that is a very rare occasion where some teams don't have more players. But obviously, you'll see in club, the culture normally is most teams have like an average of 8 to 10 players. So naturally, if there is an injury, you would normally have a substitute to be able to use for those situations. But
Yeah, it happened to me actually 2-3 years ago that I played against a team that finished with 5 players. So it was my first time after 30 years coaching. So
yeah, we had a very rare, unique, small window era where we would start a match with 5 players, but that was only that COVID era where we had the ghost rule. But obviously, ever since the ghost era has come and gone because of COVID's now come and gone, where we were allowed to start with 5 players, but that is no longer a thing. So you have to at least start with 6 players.
Okay. Emma still in first place.
We're making moves in the leaderboard.
Okay, good job.
Either you have players that are helping parents right now, or you got some parents that you might be trying to recruit for coaching. That's all I gotta say.
Our parents are phenomenal at this point. They know more than us about volleyball. So this is good. I see parents that go on raising their hands on the Google Meet chat. You have to use the app in order for you to ask questions, please. Okay, so in leaderboard, and then we'll talk a little bit about position. Okay, so very close. The top 4 spots are definitely very close. Let's say the first 5. Okay, let's see what happened next. Just to let you know, the top score is 100 points, and then based on time, you can go down to 50. And if you have a wrong answer, obviously, you get 0 points. Okay, there's another question before we talk about. Okay, so 3 people replied and answered. So if you have an issue, make sure that you refresh eventually the page. I don't know if there's an issue with the with the page. Okay, well, Camila for sure is online. She was able to get another right answer. 5 good answers in a row. Okay, Joseph, enlighten us.
For the zones?
Yeah, zones.
All right. So as far as what the zones are concerned, is you're basically looking at as, by the way, do you want me to treat it as the way we talk about zones as just serving zones, or you want me to treat it like the way we talk about it from like a coaching perspective?
No, just how we rotate, just
like clockwise.
So yeah, clockwise. Yes, and when we rotate, because some parents don't know when we rotate.
Gotcha. All right. So for the zones, you kind of had already the question, obviously, like where the middle front is. The way you want to look at it is, so zone 1 in the right back position is obviously where your server is always going to be coming out of from. And then the way you're going to be looking at the serving zones is actually going to be counterclockwise, right? So you're going to work your way backwards. So zone 2 would be right front, middle front, as you saw with your quiz question, right, was middle front in the front zone, right, closest to the net. Then your left front zone, zone 4, your left back would be zone 5, and then your middle back, zone 6. However, even though that's the way we would be looking at our zones, we actually rotate in a clockwise rotational format. All right. So the way we actually rotate that way is going to be the way it is going to be in the game format. However, what Coach Marco was referring to is, remember, you only going to rotate when there is a side out. And when we say side out is when you've earned the serve, right? You've been in defense, you've won the rally, you've earned the point. So now when you've actually got the serve back, that is when you actually rotate in that situation. So now you've won the serve, you've earned the serve, so you're going to rotate clockwise. So if you were in zone 2 at the time that you've earned the serve, when you go to rotate clockwise now, you're going to be rotating into zone 1 to be able to go back to serve. So everyone rotates one rotational spot, you go to serve from there. So, I mean, it's pretty simple from there, and we kind of go from there. Way we kind of keep track of rotations is we kind of track the server, right? So I know if my server was in the right back position, we kind of know that as rotation 1, and we kind of track the servers from there. But that is way more for down the road. Marco, is that kind of simplified enough, obviously, for like first-year parents?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Parents, if you have follow-up question on your app that you're using to answer all the trivia, there's a button that say ask a question. You can ask a question and we will see them here. That's why we deactivated the comment area on Google Meet, because I am on another app right now, so I cannot see them. Okay, but I see if you have any question on that. Okay, next. Okay, you still have 5 seconds. This is a little bit of extra time since it's not just a click. Okay, time is up. Okay, 15 of you, right? 15 of you, wrong. Okay, so this is the sequence. You serve, and then someone on the other side of the net will pass the ball, and then someone on your side of the net, so in the same team of the passer, will set. So the first touch is called a pass, second touch is called a set, third touch you do whatever you can to hit the ball, and then on the other side there will be a block, and then obviously the rally will go on. Eventually there will be a defense, and someone else that set, and someone else that hit. But yeah, these are the first 5 things in chronological order.
Yep.
Okay, Camilla is still leading, but it's still open. Don't forget, for every question you have 100 points, so you can change the ranking and the leaderboard very quickly. Okay, next one. We got you guys. Okay, Joseph.
That is a very good question. And yeah, that's a question that obviously messes up a lot of people. So for first year parents, definitely that's something you want to know. Yes, the first answer is actually the correct answer. So for indoor volleyball, as long as the first contact was on the block attempt, so when the player goes up to block, if the ball comes off the block, they are actually allowed to be able to go ahead and then simultaneously try to pop the ball back up on back-to-back contacts without that being considered a simultaneous contact, or it is considered simultaneous contact, but that is not two back-to-back contacts. That's not two consecutive contacts or separate contacts. The block is not considered the first contact by the defensive team. That is just a block attempt. So that is not the difference. Obviously, in beach, that is considered your first contact. That is not your first contact in indoor volleyball. So that ball could be blocked, and then all of a sudden the first contact is made from the pass from a back row player. That pass is actually your first contact from your series of three contacts from your defensive play. So that's your first, all of a sudden, that is actually your first offensive contact, right? That pass from your back row player. So the block is not your first contact. So if technically your blocker does a very good job of being able to get a touch on that block and that ball's coming straight down, she is allowed to turn around and try to pop it up so it does not fall down to the ground. So that's why that first answer is the correct answer. If she gets it off the block and she turns around and pops it up, it is the actually legal first contact.
Okay, let's see after 15 wrong answers what the leaderboard looks like. So we have a new leader, very close, even for the third spot. Let's see, you have 1 point of distance between third, fourth, and fifth. Okay. Still open, guys, still open. We still have, I think, 6 or 7 questions. So let's see what happens next. Okay, we start going in there. Guys,
listen,
I'm sorry. Let me say what.
There's got to be some bonus points for the person who answered.
You're right. That's what I was going to say, because USA, it's just USA, because guys, in the rest of the world, wherever you play, in every country, at every level, you have 6 subs. 6. That's it. Doesn't matter in what corner of the world you play, with the exception of Joseph. Joseph, now tell us all the rules that we have in the US.
So yeah, no, it's just it varies. Obviously, like high school is actually, so the person that put 18, they might have been thinking about high school, because high school is 18. For college is 15. So yes, for USAV and for AAU, it's 12. So that's totally understandable. So that's why people could be in all different directions when it comes to the sub numbers. Unlimited, for the 6 to put unlimited, that's actually NAIA. So NAIA is actually unlimited. So I can see why some people might put unlimited. So I mean, yeah, I could totally get why the answers might be all over the place, you know. So I totally understand that. I get it, but I still think that the person that put 0 at the end there, that person should get bonus points. Totally, I love that answer.
Yes,
but,
yes. We will definitely check, since we can keep a log of the answer. I'll go and check.
0 if you're trying to
dad or mom that plays 0 if you're trying to bench my daughter. We give them a trophy, even if it doesn't get to the top three positions. Definitely. Okay. Okay, Cami is back on top, and Julia is on a long streak. Okay, Joseph, if you want to say something about the additional things about the game, like subs.
Yeah, no,
Let
so
me
actually,
see
you know what? No, I
on
love that the slide came up with the subs. Yeah. Something so that you guys don't think that like if certain referees, something that we kind of nitpick with our referees, so you understand why. And I say ours because like this is something that we as even like as a head referee or like a tournament director, like putting that hat on right now, that we nitpick with the referees. 30-second timeouts. You got to understand. We tell these referees all the time. Seconds turn into minutes, minutes into hours. When we say 30-second timeouts, the referees understand that we are supposed to be giving a whistle at 15 and 18 seconds to be able to get the teams back on the court. So 30-second timeouts means that the teams are expected to be back on the court, ready to beckon to serve to get the game going back again at 30 seconds. That does not mean that the teams are supposed to be starting to come back onto the court at 30 seconds. So, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because you'll see some officials are better than others when it comes to time management. So if you feel that sometimes you run into an official that might be like, it seems like they're trying to be a stickler about the time management, don't think that they're just kind of being like a stickler about it and that it's just them just trying to be the bad guy. No, it's just because that is actually the expectation that's been set. And like they are actually, and this is me being included too, we have tournament directors that are very harsh with us about it. And like when we are not good with our time management, we have tournament directors that come by us and they tell us, they'll look at us and you'll see them do this to us. And that's them telling us that we need to be better with our time management, as in like pick up the pace. And if they feel that we're being too slow with our time management, trust me, they get on our case a lot more than people realize. So 30 seconds, they literally mean tell us like 30 seconds. At 15 seconds, you'll hear us say tweet, tweet, blowing our whistle. Like, all right, guys, come on back onto the court. So then when the 30 seconds are up, it's like tweet, we're beckoning to serve. And the next serve, it's like, boom, let's go. So like you see the slide says, it's 2 timeouts per set. And that includes the third set. And it's the 12 subs per each set. When we're getting on the court, is this considered a substitution? It is not considered one of your 12 subs. So your libero could actually come in and out for all 6 positions on the floor, and it's not considered as one of your 12 subs. So that could be considered as like one of your unlimited subs from your previous question. So that's actually a very good question, by the way. The subs do come up to the 10-foot line. You'll see some people kind of nitpick the whole thing about like get inside of the attack line because that's considered your substitution zone. I don't really nitpick that much. If you're within reason of the attack line, like your substitution zone, like you're good. Some people will nitpick it. Don't worry about it. Don't fight that battle. Just get it within the substitution zone and you're good there. So, but just that's pretty good, Marco. I think that's good for first year families. So
definitely. Thank you, Joseph. Okay, let's move. Okay, just to touch a position for the ones that are new. Okay, there are several positions. When you're very young, U11, U12, actually, you don't go into all these differences. You have people that set, people that pass and hit, or people that pass and people that hit, and always someone that is specialized on the second touch. That's the first. The first 2 big groups that you create as a coach. So when you start playing at the beginning, everyone does everything. So you don't have a position depending on where you are on the court. When you rotate, you have a different role, and that's it. Okay, yeah. Then when you start specializing, you create someone that is responsible for the second touch. So for the set, meaning setters, and someone that is responsible for the first and second, because obviously you cannot be responsible for 2 touches in a row. No, you cannot be the passer and the setter at the same time, at least not in the same rotation. Then when you start becoming a more advanced player, then you start to specialize yourself, or your coach start helping you specializing based on your characteristic. That can be both physical characteristic and technical characteristic. in your position. So a setter is like the quarterback in football, or the playmaker in basketball is the one that manages the offensive system. So she's responsible for the second touch. So normally you will not see her have any responsibility on the first touch on serve receive, because she will get out from serve receive in order to be free to manage the second. Outside hitter, middle blockers, and opposite are three kind of hitters. The middle blocker is the one that you will see in the middle of the net, front row. So to go back to what we were saying at the beginning, zone 3, so middle front. And normally she has big responsibility on blocking, because she's the one that runs from one side of the net to the other one, in order to try to touch the ball on blocking as much as possible. That's why it's called middle blocker more than middle hitter. And she will hit from the middle of the net. The outside hitter are the ones that hit from the left side of the net. So normally they will be in zone 4, so left front. And then if they stay back row, so when they rotate, if they stay back row, they will be middle back. I don't go into details. Then you have the opposite. They are the ones that play opposite to the setter. They're also called here in the US more than opposite, right side hitter. They are the ones that hit from the right side. And then you have a special position that is the libero, that is the one with the different jersey, that is responsible for the back row. So Joseph was already mentioning something about substitution and the fact that she can come in and out as much as she wants, but always and only back row. So she cannot go in a front row position. She can just have the team in the back row. Okay, Joseph, anything else? Coming up. Ball. Sorry, guys. Am I wrong?
No, and I knew it. That's a great question, and that's a question that a lot of people get wrong. And honestly, when I first started coaching, that was a question that I would argue too, that I was getting it wrong myself when I first started coaching. But yeah, no, it's by technicality. Yes, they could attack the ball if they are technically grounded, but not attacking the ball from above the plane of the net. So what? They could cut shot, they could roll shot, as long as the ball's not completely above the plane of the net, right? So
they can still jump front row.
As
long as the ball is under the top of the net, they can.
They could jump, right? But I gotta have a really like a very petite libero that their jump, right, doesn't involve them attacking the ball above the plane of the net, right? So as long as the attack is not completed above the plane of the net, right? Everybody says, well, they jumped, they left their feet. Well, it doesn't matter if they jump or don't jump. Where was the attack completed? As long as the attack is not completed above the plane of the net, even if they leave their feet, it's just as long as the ball is not completely above the plane of the net, then we're good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's in relation to where the ball is at the point of contact. That's all it comes down to. You just got to make sure that the ball is not above the plane of the net. That's it.
Just to let you know, there's a riot in my house. My wife, that is also coach and co-director of the club.
A bad coach, apparently, because I got some answers wrong, because I think the questions were misleading.
Yeah.
And my husband did them.
No, yeah, it isn't. That's why it's like I used to be that person too. I used to have me and my cousin. My cousin was a setter / libero, And we used to get called on an illegal back row attack because she thought when she would convert from setter to libero, she could go back there and start attacking every ball. And it's like, no, not if you're above the plane of the net. So I used to have that thing too. And then I learned when I transitioned into reffing, no, if you're the libero, you just can't make sure you're not above the plane of the net. It's one of those things that I had to learn myself too. So
you can take off in front of the 10-foot line and jump as long as your contact is not completed.
The plane of the net. Correct.
Okay, well, at least we made everyone unhappy. So it's fair now. No one got a point. So let's see. Not to move. We're still here. Okay. So, Joseph, do you want to explain us a little bit about the libero role?
Yeah, it's obviously it's the advantage that you get from a coaching perspective to be able to assign that one person that is, hey, you might not be vertically gifted, right? You don't have that height, that God-given height to be able to attack the ball, but hey, you are a phenomenal passer, right? You have the skill set to be able to be a very consistent passer. You're very good at to be able to help your offense get going, right? Because you need the passing. Your offense cannot get going without consistent passing. So you're going to be able to have these tactical advantage to consistently be able to pass for at least 2 to 3 players in the back row, right? If not more, if you're used strategically, depending on how matches go, right? But you're technically, by rule, you could play for all 6 positions. Does it always play out that way? No, you're always playing normally for 2 specific players. Normally, consistently, it's usually for the middles. You obviously have the different jersey color than everybody else, right? You are only allowed to serve for 1 rotational spot. And that literally means that we could actually have multiple liberos in a set, because that is a thing now, right? Except in high school. High school, you're only allowed to assign 1 libero. But in club, you could assign yourself 2 liberos. You designate, that's actually the proper word. You could designate 2 liberos, but both of them are only allowed to serve in 1 rotational spot. So that means that whatever middle or whatever positional player that they serve for in that 1 spot, both of those players could just serve in that 1 spot. You can't split the liberos and have them serving for 1 person here and 1 person here. Whatever 1 spot they serve in, that's the 1 spot that they are only allowed to serve in for that set, right? Because you could change it from set to set. But in that 1 set, they're only allowed to serve in that 1 spot. So you always see, obviously, them in different colored jerseys than the rest of the team, but it's not considered as one of your subs. So that's why you see the term up there. They're considered like your back row specialist. So. Oh, Marco, you're on mute.
Thank you, Joseph.
No, you're
Okay, we'll try to speed up a bit. It's 8:30. We don't want to keep Joseph too long. I think we have the last. Okay, where's the last? Okay, so the majority got it right. Take a look here. We have a new second place. Joseph, 20 seconds to give a complete answer to this last trivia.
Yeah, no, Marco, you said it. As long as they were paying attention earlier, right? We just got to make sure that both feet are completely behind the attack line at the point of takeoff. They can land inside the attack line. Just make sure you're completely behind at the point of takeoff. So
perfect. Okay, let's move on. Question number 11. Joseph. I know.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, we had 13 people paying attention, as what we talked about earlier. As long as they obviously are not interfering with the play. The other gray area that we didn't talk about earlier is that unfortunately they also leave a gray area for us as officials to be able to make a judgment call. Is you see the part of the picture that is on a circle there is they give us the opportunity to judge where there is a safety hazard for the players right there. You see how both players are kind of like looking down to be able to kind of avoid the player that is interfering with the play there, just to kind of make sure that they themselves don't get injured in that play. So if we deem it to be a potential safety hazard for those players, we could obviously blow the play dead for a center line violation there. So that's all. That's the only thing I wanted to add there for that play, Marco. So
Okay. Okay. Diana goes up to third place. Then Juana second and Camilla first. And then we have Julia. Okay. We get into the hot area of trivia. I think at this point they probably saw their score and they have no chance to win. So
yeah, again, bonus points for the time to dance. Right?
Thank you for a good laugh.
So positional rotational faults is correct. Yes, for the 7 that decided to put your team needs to rotate, we won't tell you that you need to rotate. That is something that you are going to kind of figure on your own, right? You've got the serve, so you know you need to rotate. That you know that's not the proper server, so we don't actually have a signal for that. So whenever you see that, that is us. We only signal like the faults, right? What did you do wrong to basically lose the point, right? So we show you who won the point, and then we tell you what you did wrong in that situation. So that's why he's signaling what the positional fault is in that situation. So positional fault means you were just not in the proper order on the court. Is that simple enough, Marco? Is that kind of like the?
Yes. Also because you told them, when you're parents, when you're watching the game, you will always see the ref first thing pointing in the direction of the team that scored the point. So you will see the arm going this way or this way. And then second thing, the reason why the point went to that team and not the other.
It's always that order. Point first, then why they were given the point. What was the fault? That's what we always call the fault. The reason why.
Okay, let's see. Diana is rocking. Okay, second place.
Moving up.
Let's see. Last 2 questions, guys. Everything can change.
Oh.
Joseph.
Yes. So the proper term is illegal hit, but you'll always hear like prolonged contact, right? Or you'll hear people yell lift, or you'll hear people yell carry, blah, blah, blah. So basically, prolonged contact means just what? The ball came to rest, right? Or the ball rolls up the person's body, ball got stuck, right? One of the biggest things that people yell about, especially for first-year parents, is people think that if the ball is contacted by an open hand, that automatically means that it's going to be a lift. That's not necessarily true. If the ball is played and the ball just rebounds, it means it bounces off the person's hand. An open hand doesn't always necessarily mean it's an illegal hit. So that's kind of like always the biggest things that I always see when it's club, whether it's indoor or beach. An open hand does not always mean it's an illegal hit. So the way the terminology that we use is if the ball rebounds, right? If the ball bounces, that's probably the basic way to know it. If the ball bounces, it comes off, it ricochets off a person's body, clean play. If the ball kind of delays coming off the person's body, right? It's a little slow coming off, then that's most likely the easiest way for us as an official to know that it's what? It's prolonged contact. It's a lift, illegal hit. Is that the easiest way to know for prolonged contact for that one?
Yeah. I got catch. I would have placed lift, but I copied this image from the USA Volleyball manual, and the definition was catch. So I said, well, I'm catch, but
catch, and the way is like when the ball comes to rest. That's the other way to look at it. When the ball comes to rest.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, Ian is rocking again, but Camila is still first, and then we have Julia, Juana, Nina, El Gringo, Sydney. Yeah, guys, my wife is getting ballistic, so make her win, because otherwise it will be a tough night for me. Okay, ready, guys? I think it's the last one, and then if you have any questions, it will be your time. Okay. Joseph.
Yep, reaching over the net. That means when the ball is actually completely over on the opponent's side of the net, you have a blocker, an attacker reaching over to be able to make contact with the ball. The only thing with club in particular, the same thing as like with college, is if there's a person there to make a play on the ball. If there's no one there, right, to make a play on the ball, technically they're allowed to come over to be able to make a play on the ball. If there's someone there and they come over and reach over, then that's when you'll see the signal being made. Remember, if any part of the ball is in the plane of the net and you see someone fighting for that call, you'll normally see the official do this. That means what? That at least a part of the ball was within the plane of the net, which is why there wouldn't be a reach over. But the ball has to be completely on that side of the net, and the contact is made for the official to be able to signal the reach over. So is that simplified enough, Marco?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a great.
And that was like the Spark Notes version too.
Okay, so all the answers are in. So guys, you see, well, these are a little bit of official signs. I will skip. Because
I had that open. Yeah, I had that open over here on my side over here. Yeah.
Yes. If you have any question, you can start writing it. I will skip this slide because I don't want to keep Joseph here and you guys too long. It's 8:40. But if you have any question, this is your time. We'll close at no more than 8:50. It's fine, Joseph.
Yeah. You know, the other thing I would want to cover, Marco.
Yeah, cover it. So we can get a little bit of suspense to see who won this.
Yeah, go ahead. I definitely want to see the leaderboard. I want to see because you had a couple people in striking distance there.
Yeah, go for it. Just no, we'll keep it there. So
we'll keep it there. Oh, okay.
Yeah, let them suffer.
So I actually there's a couple things for cards, especially for first year parents. Cards. So biggest thing for cards. One thing that I always notice for first year parents that they kind of like, especially if some parents are coming over from soccer to like indoor volleyball. One thing that you guys want to learn about volleyball, cards are very different in volleyball than it is in other sports. Volleyball, if you see a yellow card, very different in volleyball than it is in other sports. And yellow cards in volleyball does not mean the same thing that you might think in other sports. In volleyball, A coach and every single player could get yellow carded, and it can mean absolutely nothing. Nothing. It doesn't cost us a point. And I've literally told this, and this is me also putting my coaching hat on. I used to tell my players all the time, I could get carded, and every single one of us could get carded, a yellow card. And at the end of the match, it would mean absolutely nothing. It doesn't cost us a point. It doesn't mean anything. It just means it's a warning. So I'll tell my players, don't like get offended, don't get appalled, because sometimes I see like parents and even the kids get like appalled, like they got a yellow card. It doesn't hurt us. That just means it's a warning. It just means, hey, I heard you, I see you, I get it. All right, that's enough. We're good now. From here on out, if there's anything else that happens and it leads to a red card, then that's when it starts costing you points, right? And even then, a red card in volleyball, it will cost you a point. Your head coach might have to sit down now, but it will only be a point, right? It's only a point. It's not like you're getting kicked out of a match. So that's another thing too to be able to be considerate of. So just when you see a yellow card, that's the biggest thing. Sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, I saw a yellow card. It's just a yellow card. It's a warning. Don't take so much offense to it. Because I see that sometimes, like people see a yellow card and it's like, I can't believe I got a yellow card. You know what a yellow card does? It goes on the score sheet and there's nothing else outside of that. If you guys, because Marco, you guys are going to be doing USAV tournaments too, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if you see a purple card, the purple card is the only time you'll ever see in USAV tournaments. AAU does not use a purple card. A purple card is for spectators. A purple card is if the official, and you'll see in Florida, we really don't use it that much. In Florida, we're very different, and I hear this because I hear from our own officials and I hear from our coaches, because obviously you'll notice this about our officials in Florida compared to other states, especially if you go to travel. We're much more relational than maybe in other places around the country. So we tend to not use these cards as much as other states. So, but if you do see a purple card, the purple card means that the official has said that the spectator is too unruly, right? So you've been given a warning. Normally they'll give it together, right? So that is the spectator has been given a yellow card. So it doesn't affect the team, but if from after this, if you get the purple and the yellow, the next time it would be a purple and a red. That means that now because of the spectator's behavior, that will now be a point towards affecting now being given to the other team because of the parents from your team. So just be mindful of little stuff like that, because sometimes that stuff is not told to you beforehand and it'll happen in a match and you'll be like, what just happened? So sometimes I like to kind of like let my parents know, even like when I'm coaching, just because like if it happens to us, and I don't want that to be something that you learn after the fact, after the damage has been done. It's better to know beforehand, so that that's not something that you're like, wait, I didn't know that beforehand. So that's why, Marco, I kind of like want the parents to know, so that it's like something that's preventative. So if you see it beforehand, you're like, oh, wait a second, I remember that now. So preventative measures is better to know beforehand, so it doesn't escalate into something that could be preventative. So you only see that in USAV though. They don't use that for AAU. So AAU is more like if we have spectator issues, wherever you're at, then usually the tournament director will come and deal with spectator issues. So it's handled differently for that. So
that was an important information, actually. So thank you. Okay, we have a couple of questions. Is there any card that can affect the team?
yeah, so yeah, that would be kind of indirectly answer. Yeah, that one, which is it'll go from escalate from yellow, where it's just like the warning, just like it is when it's individually for the individuals in the team. If it's purple and red, then that's when it would start costing the team points, but it's being technically issued to the spectators, right? But it's actually affecting the team because the points are not being given to the opposing team. Can a ref call be challenged by any of the teams? So do you want me to briefly cover protest? Or
Don't go into that rabbit hole.
By technicality, actually, well, I could give them the Spark Notes version.
Go.
You know, the Spark Notes?
Yes, go
By
for it.
So by technicality, this is what's been done with protests. By technicality, can a team challenge a call? Yes, it's called a protest. However, the rule that was implemented last year, if a team decides to protest a call by a referee, if it's a judgment call, like whether it's a double or whether it's an in and out call, if you protest a judgment call, you will automatically lose the protest. So what's going to happen is you're going to protest that call. It's going to be going to tournament desk, to championship desk. They're going to come back and they're going to say, you questioned a judgment call. Judgment calls are non-protestable. So you're automatically going to be given a red card. You're going to lose the protest and you're going to lose the point, and then the game's going to go on. So you're going to waste 20 minutes. You're going to lose the call, and we're going to waste 20 minutes and lose a point and move on. If it's a rule interpretation thing, then they would bring out the tournament director, the head referee. They'll ask you what you're protesting, and then they'll go through proper protocols. But again, you don't want, my personal opinion, and this is me both being a referee and a head coach, it has to be something like a rule interpretation, and I would trust your coach and your club directors. They know what the rules are. It has to be something that is like very specific. Like if they know that it's a wrong application of a rule, they'll know what to protest. I would not be protesting like judgment calls, because those were the ones that you automatically lose. It has to be something that they know that it's blatantly like wrong. Like that is not the rule. Like, I'm sorry, Mr. Official, but that's not what the rule says, kind of thing. Yeah. So
I have a question that actually I don't know the answer. I've always been the one eventually protesting. Can a captain do it, or is just the yes?
yes, a captain could request the protest, because by technicality, when the protest is made, the tournament director and the head referee, when they come over to the court, they actually don't address the head coach. They actually address the captain when they come over. And they said, what is your protest? And then they'll say, we are protesting XYZ. And then they're like, okay. And then they'll come over to the ref. What's the situation, blah, blah. And then they go through the proper protocols about what the protest is. So.
Got it. Okay.
If it's U11, U12.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, ironically, yeah, even for the little ones, which I think is so very strict.
Okay, I skipped.
Tequila.
Okay, Cami, you won. Okay, so at our next practice on Sunday, you will get your trophy. Diana or Diana, second place. Please let us know who you are, guys. And Julia, you got a third place. Okay, nothing. There's I don't know. We have too many devices.
No, sono.
Spegni tutto. Finisco. Okay. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Thanks for staying so late. Joseph, thank you so much for being with us tonight. It was a pleasure to have you. Guys, if you see Joseph at the tournaments, I'm sure that you can stop by and say hello and thank him in person. If you go and play at Miami Country Day, he will be there. Joseph, we'll see each other during club season, I suppose.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Especially Deerfield, too.
Perfect. Okay, so you will see him a lot. I want to thank all our sister club in New Jersey and New York. Joseph, I don't know if you know it, but we have another club that was born 4 months ago in New Jersey. So some of them were with us tonight.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for your presence from up there with the cold weather. We will not see you at tournaments, but we will see each other in a couple of weeks. Me and I will be there. Joseph, thank you so much. Have a good
Absolutely.
night.
Thank you, guys. I'll hopefully be seeing you guys soon.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Have a good night. Joseph, thank you so much again.
Nah, no problem, brother. We'll see you soon.
Yes. Bye.